How can limiting how many goals you set help you affect greater change in your life? That's the question for today. Thank you for joining me on my Facebook Live today. Appreciate you showing up. I'm also live over on YouTube. If you'd like, give me a subscribe, give me a like. If you're joining me live, give me a hashtag live. If you're joining me on replay, give me a hashtag replay. Also, make sure you leave your comments and thoughts below so I can get back to them. I'm not going to look at them because I want to focus on this message. This is where we talk about ways for you to succeed in business while winning at home, for ways for you to stop existing and start living. So let's get into it. So how can limiting how many goals you set help you achieve greater things or greater change? How can it help you affect greater change in your life? You would think, that's when I start working with people, the biggest thing is I'll sit down with them. I'll say, okay, let's talk about your goals, your annual goals. And their annual goals, they've got a laundry list of like 20 or 30 things that they want to accomplish. And I sit there and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, first of all, I'm going to lay some science on you guys. First of all, scientific studies have proven that about eight is the magic number for annual goals. If you look at my purpose-driven planner, there's only 8 spots for annual goals. Also, that out of those 8, you should have a mixture of different life domains, not just career, not just personal, but a little bit of everything there. And the other thing is that out of those 8, you should only work on, they should be set up so that you can accomplish them within like quarters, or maybe, 2 or 3 quarters. So the idea being that out of those 8, you work on, there's 4 quarters in a year. So you work on 2, maybe 3 per quarter and move yourself forward on those goals. So that's the science. We got that out of the way. Here's the thing is people think that by setting more goals that they can affect more and greater change faster in their lives. And that's not true. All you're doing is creating overwhelm. So by setting fewer goals, this is actually the power of what I like to call the power of constriction. Think about it this way. When you were a little kid, you remember playing with the hose. I don't know, maybe kids don't play with hoses today. I did. I played with the water hose outside, or the garden hose, as some people call it. And when you're just holding it, you got water coming out. It's got a certain amount of pressure. But when you constrict the flow, you put that thumb over the front, right? You could turn that into a high-powered, if you were really lucky, you could turn that into a high-powered weapon of stinging needles to afflict upon any enemy who dare enter your yard, right? Remember that? You do that, and that pressure would shoot it forward. Well, it's the same concept with our goals. If we constrict how many goals we accomplish, we can actually put more focus on them, which means we accomplish them faster, better, and more thoroughly. There's my alarm telling me I need to stop talking. So I'll try to hurry here. But the point is that when we have a lot of goals, it's just too much. Here's the other way I like to describe it. I like to go shooting. And there's 2 types of long-barreled guns that I use when I go shooting or when I go hunting. One of them is a rifle. One of them is a shotgun. You may be familiar with them. A shotgun has little pellets or beads they're not bullets, right? They're pellets in there and in a shell. Now, a rifle has 1 bullet in the shell. That's it. 1 bullet in the shell. So with that being said, when you shoot a shotgun, there's 2 things about it. One, the range is not as far. Maybe if you're lucky, you could get 100 yards, but usually it's about 50 to 60 yards. You got to be pretty close up on your target. And when you do shoot it, because there's all these little pellets in there, they go everywhere. They just pepper. Literally, it looks like pepper hitting the paper if you're shooting at paper. If you're shooting at, now, I know some of you out there, you're going to be like, well, what about buckshot? And what about, okay. We're going to talk about just a standard birdshot shell for a shotgun, okay? So a lot goes out there. Now, if you use a rifle, you've got 1 bullet, you've got a lot of powder behind it, and that 1 bullet goes straight, and it goes fast, and it goes far. You can get hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 yards versus 50 to 60 to 100. You can get 600, 700, 800 yards or more out of a single bullet. There's been snipers that have taken shots over a mile long. So you get more accuracy. You can zero in on the bullseye with 1 bullet versus trying to take that bullseye out with, the red bullseye in the middle with a bunch of shot.
So it's the same concept with our goals. If we can focus our goals down, if we can bring them all together to move one purpose forward, and that one purpose should be the betterment of our life, but we move it forward and we have 5 or 6 or 7, 8 goals at the most, and they all align with each other, right? What we want to do is reduce friction. That's the point. We're trying to reduce friction here. And so you want the goals to align with each other. You can't say, I want to be a stay-at-home parent, but I want to go back to school to be a medical doctor. It's just not possible to align those two. You can't be staying at home if you have to be going to college, if you have to be doing a residency, if you have to be gone all the time, right? So you need to make sure that they align. Otherwise, you're going to create friction and cognitive dissonance, bad cognitive dissonance in your brain. Maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow, is good cognitive dissonance. But anyhow, so you want to zero in on your goal. You want to go straight. You want to go forward. You want to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you get stagnated and you get where you can't do anything. You can't move forward. You can't accomplish your goals. Then you get frustrated. Frustration leads to hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering, right? I just quoted Yoda. But it's a similar path. The path to becoming a dark side Sith Lord and the path to stalling out on your goals is very, very parallel in what happens. So you want to make sure that you are zeroing in, and that the best way to do that is to limit how many goals you set. Now, the cool thing is if you get 8 done this year and 8 done the next year and 8, and you keep doing that, you'll actually move faster because you're actually getting them done, not stalling out. You'll move faster towards whom you want to become, towards the goals you want to achieve, than if you had a whole ton of them and tried to be, going back to my Jedi thing, trying to be a Jedi master overnight, right? You have to master one step at a time, and that's one goal at a time. And there's one step towards that goal at a time. So that's why it's best for you to limit your goals. You actually get more thrust, you get more movement forward, you get more momentum with fewer goals. And even though it sounds counterintuitive, it truly is. So that's why you really want to make sure that you're limiting your goals. You want to have a mixture in there of habit and achievement goals. What's the difference? A habit goal is I'm installing, for example, I want to read the Bible every morning. That's a habit goal, and you're installing it. An achievement goal is, the habit you don't want to end. You want to make that a lifelong habit, or a habit until you run the marathon, or a habit, but it's for a purpose. The achievement goal is the absolute, we know if we hit it or not. There's an absolute stop on it. The achievement goal might be to make $100,000 a month. Well, if that's the case, then when you've achieved it by hitting 100,000. If you say to make $100,000 a month by September 30th, 2023, then at September 30th, 2023, if you've achieved your goal or not. So those are the types of habits. Now, like I said, you really want to limit them. You want to have a mixture in there of habits and achievement, of personal and business. You don't want to load up on any one domain too much. Otherwise, your life becomes unbalanced and it becomes unharmonious. Remember, we talk about work-life harmony, not balance. So that's my take on goals. That's what I see the most success with my clients, and that's what science proves is right. So I'm going to go with science on this one for the win, and tell you to set fewer goals to have more momentum in your life. We'll talk to you guys later. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and make sure you give me a hashtag live or a hashtag replay, and leave your comments below. Talk to you guys later. Bye.